Hey guys, it's Carrie, and today I'm just going to talk to Napoleon from Cartel about Champion City Siege. There was quite a bit of interesting battles and challenges involved because some alliances were paired together that were not expected. So, thank you for joining me today, Napoleon.
Thank you for having me, Car. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Same. So let's start off with first. What was your reaction to seeing the pairings?
I expected this could happen since in the latest update there was something about more competitive, more exciting, whatever matchings for the CCS. So we more or less understood this to mean that the strongest kingdoms and alliances will be paired together, like it was in the first CCS, but not in the second, third, and fourth, I think.
Right.
So we thought this could happen, but of course no one was sure because the devs didn't really explain what they meant when they posted that in the update. But we were aware of this possibility.
How did you prepare for that?
It was a very strange day that we had yesterday. You see, we had to fight Run three times in the same day. You see, a big UC match that we had and won, but was very hard fought. Could have gone either way. And then, like minutes later, literally, Run invaded us. We also knew this was going to happen, but maybe not so soon. And some hours later, since Run was in our kingdom, we had to fight again in UC, so which was
Or
extremely hectic.
CCS?
But we tried to muster our forces to be competitive in UC, and we allied. Sorry, in CCS, and we allied with BCL for it. And then there was another complication, which I think you're going to bring up later. Not all of us, I mean the Cartel family, are in K54. We have a large expedition in K34, so we also played CCS for K34. So our forces were divided. So
Wow.
it was hard to plan all that, but I think considering the circumstances, we did very well and it was fun.
Okay, so let's start with the first CCS match. So it was you and BCL allied, and was it Run and BTS allied, or were they just independent of each other? Do you know?
As far as I know, they were allied. I mean, they looked allied in the battle, more or less supporting each other. So yes, I mean, four big alliances: BCL, CTL against Run, BTS.
Okay. So, did you have any particular strategies that you discussed with BCL in advance so that would increase your chances?
Well, yes, and I mean it's not really a secret if you for people who were there, and I know that a lot of people were watching. And if you even if you look at the battle reports, the plan was to have Kinaston as first place, and it worked. Was our biggest objective. This is going to be important in the future, and I would try to contend second or third, and it worked. I finished third after Kina and Savo, and we denied one of the top places to BTS. They finished fourth with Orion. And also we had some reinforcements, some big red leaders coming from BCL to CTL to help us, which is a common practice in these big league CCS matches. I mean, allies help each other for better dragons, better reinforcements, and so on. So yes, we pooled our forces to fight this very powerful enemy that is Run, and in particular Lord Savo. We took a lot of losses, but so did they, and overall we won. Our main objective, CTL was having Kinasa in first place, and we did it. And to get there and to keep pressure on Run and BTS, but especially Run with Savo, we were launching rallies all the time, frequently on Savo, on their castle. And to do this, while also trying to rally other players and to defend against hostile rallies, we had some reinforcements of some big red leaders coming from BCL to CTL. Which is a common practice in big league CCS matches. I mean, powerful alliances help each other when they are allied to complement their dragons, reinforcements, and so on. So that's what we did, and it worked. I mean, we achieved our objective, which was to win CCS with Kinastron.
Okay. So, now you said you had your alliance kind of broken up between K54 and K34. Um, did you take that into account when you were planning the invasion for CCS? Or was this sort of like, oh, things kind of changed and now we need to compensate?
Well, yes, we took that into account. We had some players. I mean, in both kingdoms, I have a battle out that is in K34. So we had some players who were and still are in K34 and want to try to play CCS depending on our opposition, of course. And CCS for K34, which is the same as K54 and K71 and I think 15 and some other kingdoms, was also very competitive. There was no proper mega whale there, so we had a chance of winning, and we almost won. We finished second actually
Oh,
with our
wow.
player Alessia Zeffi. SFU won, and Syndicate, so our family, finished second, which was a very competitive match as well. I mean, not the same extremely impressive battle stats and ready sizes that we had with the big league CCS, like ready sizes of 6 or 7 million each time. This time it was only 3 or 4 million, but still it was also very fun. So yes, we were ready to fight CCS in both separate servers. We were ready for that.
Okay. Um, what do you think was the most challenging part for Cartel, not Syndicate, but the Cartel fight? What was the most challenging point?
To be honest, mustering enough zero castles was not so easy for a number of reasons. I don't know why exactly, but every time we play CCS, we always have a very bad time slot, which our alliance is spread around the world, but with a heavy concentration in Europe. So it was reset, which for me is 3 a.m. For a lot of people, it's 1 or 2 or 4 a.m., depending on what they are. So a lot of people were just sleeping. So that's a problem, of course. And then we had some good people, some very active players in 34, not a majority, but still a strong team in 34. And I believe also understandably, some people were very much concerned about the Iran invasion, so they preferred to steer away. So we had a decent team, but it was not as big as we hoped it would be because of all these complicated circumstances. So we had to press a lot the people who were actually there to reinforce and to join every rally. And I rallied a lot of times. I lost most of them, to be fair, but sometimes I could win, also against Orion. And this was very expensive. I mean, this was, without exaggeration, maybe one of the bloodiest hours in the history of the game. If you look at the four alliances, the four big alliances combined, BCL, CTL, RUN, and BTS, I'm sure that we lost several billion power points in just 1 hour, which is really a lot. I lost about 400 million power myself.
Wow.
So yeah, in 1 hour from 2.4 billion to 3 billion. And I'm not the only one. So it was very bloody. We were expecting it to be bloody, but it was a lot of pressure, a lot of sacrifices on everyone, but also some rewards. Of course, we got some very nice badges out of it.
Okay, good. I mean, bloody, but good you got some badges. Um, Now, do you think that potentially you'll have a similar situation with the next CCS?
It's possible. It's hard to tell. It's a little bit early. Let's see what the devs intend to do, and it's hard to read the developer's mind. But if they want to keep this system, this balanced CCS matching system, I suppose it's going to be something similar next month. Not necessarily the same alliances, but something comparable. So I suppose we have to be ready for that. But we still have 4 weeks to prepare, I think.
Okay.
So,
So let's talk a little bit more about the Syndicate Battle. So, what do you see as the challenges in that one? You said it was more evenly balanced in regards
yes,
to the
much.
pairing?
It was balanced too. I mean, the other one was also balanced, but this one balanced in a different way.
Okay.
And I mean, with all respect to to the important alliances that were there, it's not mega whale alliances, a different kind of alliances. So we basically had SFU that won, Syndicate, our sister alliance, which placed second. Also, 1KS they were there, but they didn't really take the castle. WLB was there. Ash was there, but it also didn't take the castle. But we were raiding each other constantly. So yes, a lot of more or less comparable alliances in power, each one with like 25, 30 billion power in most cases. So already quite strong. And the castle changed possession, I don't know, maybe 20 times, 15 times, very often. Again, Trig from SFU, who has a very big rally size, won. He's the new CCS champion for these kingdoms. Our player Alessia Zeffi placed second. and then Parasham from SFU also placed third. And we had a lot of very close battles. It was till the end hard to see exactly who will finish on top. But I think most players were more or less relieved by the fact that, except for maybe Bina from WLB, there was no like really scary mega whale or almost max account like we had a lot in the other CCS match. So it was a little bit more relaxing, more refreshing, so to say, and it was fun as well.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to share when it comes to this event?
Oh well, I didn't really have the time because I've been so busy to look at all the other matches, but it seems like they were competitive as well. I mean, looking at the current champions and the kind of competition that they had, whether this is good or not for the like the future of CCS as an event that people really want to play, it's hard to tell. I think, as I said, it's early to tell. But I think that maybe attendance was a little bit higher than before. Overall attendance, I mean, all players, with this new pairing system. So, for instance, some alliances which played, like SFU and Ash, which played CCS in K55, K34, K15, etc. pool, I think they didn't play last month. So you had some like middle-sized alliances which decided to participate, which is good, which is democratic, so to say. But it's also, especially for the really big alliances, very expensive, very, very bloody in terms of losses and investments. So I think the devs will have to consider all of that when they think about the future of CCS. But it's an interesting innovation to try to change things a little bit.
Would you like to see that again in the future, the similar style pairings? Because like the previous ones were very much the major alliances kind of spread out. They didn't really fight each other.
Yes, it's true. The three previous ones we won, CTL won, because honestly we didn't have a lot of competition. Sometimes one or two mega whales, but with not a lot of reinforcements to really challenge us. Which has its advantages as well. When we, most of the big alliances had until now the CCS championship, so they were more or less, let's say, balanced with each other. So until now, we had Kinasa. Well, she won again. Lord Savo was no longer. He's no longer, but he was one of the CCS champions.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the big players were champions. I think Orion too from BTS. BTS didn't even finish third this time. So there was a kind of balance between them, which is also important to keep if you think about the overall state of the game, especially now that we have another big war in 54. So, there are advantages and disadvantages of its system. I think also keeping CCS champions for all the main alliances is also positive in a way to keep things more balanced between them. But it's not so good for overall attendance, I believe.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing today, Napoleon, and I will talk to you again soon.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye.